Hello, good day mabuhay. This is your channel and I am Sir Jeff, ready to serve you with another informative and talkative session about English language. And for today's episode, we are going to study about how to speak good in English. So if you would like to learn on some tips on how you can improve your sound whenever you speak English, just continue watching. And for today's session, we are going to discuss about some tips on how you could improve the way you sound whenever you speak English. Because remember, speaking is power. So if you would like to influence, if you would like your listeners to pay attention to what you are saying, the way you speak is very much important to be considered. Because sometimes the message changes because of the way we sound. So it's very critical for a speaker, for a language user, to be careful with the way we articulate, with the way we pronounce the words. But before that, I would like to greet some of our viewers who are so supportive in watching our episodes for this channel. So I'd like to greet Mr. Keanu Manala, Ms. Joanne Coronel, and her cousin, Mr. Kyle Kiwa. Happy viewing. Okay, I would also like to extend my greetings to Miss Katrina Pagyo, who actually requested for a video session about would, could, and should. So watch out for that, cat. Okay? Also extending my greetings and my gratitude to Miss Ben Gatib and Miss Andrea Maytila Wrong. Okay, pero hindi siya mali. Okay, yun lang ang kanyang screen name. So happy viewing to the both of you. And lastly, to my very supportive friend, okay, a teacher from Apalit, Miss Elsa Mata. Okay, thank you very much for your support. Now going back to our statement that speaking is power. Okay, that is a fact. You know, sometimes whenever we speak, okay, even if it's ungrammatical, but because of the way you sound, because the way we articulate or produce the words, people will not notice that you are already committing grammatical errors, that your statements are already ungrammatical. Well, native speakers, they admit that they are not aware of some rules when it comes to English, but because of the way they sound, we listen. That's another reason. Okay, because of the way we sound, we attract people to listen to us. So it's important that we improve the way we speak. Because the way you sound, I repeat, will greatly influence the message you will relay to your listeners. So what are these important reminders that you need to bear in mind whenever you are speaking in public or whenever you are speaking to people? So first, let's list them down. First, in English, it's very important that you study your intonation. Okay, what's intonation? So in layman's term, when you say intonation, it's the rise and fall of the voice. And you know what? In English, same with other languages, which is a simple shift or change in the intonation, you are already changing the intention or the meaning of what you are saying. For instance, the statement, Ida is here, using falling intonation. Okay, Ida is here. It uses falling intonation because your voice falls down at the end of the statement. So Ida is here. So it's a declaration. Okay, that Ida is here. You are just declaring, stating that somebody or that person is already in here. But if you shift from falling to rising using the same statement or the same words, it will become like this one. Ida is here. Again, Ida is here. So in that sentence, you are already using rising intonation. Now the question is there a shift in the intention? Is there a shift on the meaning of what you are saying? The answer is yes, because in that rising intonation, you are not declaring. Instead, you are already asking a question. So I repeat, tip number 1, be careful with your intonation. Aside from intonation, we also need to understand that emphasis or stress is very important whenever we use English language. So what do we mean by emphasis? Emphasis is commonly known as stress, pero hindi ito yung stress na nakakapagod. Okay? Ito yung stress na tutulong sa atin to produce this sound correctly, to understand what we really mean by what we are saying. When we say stress, stress in English has this what we call elements. Okay? Namely, the loudness, the pitch, and duration. Okay, what do we mean by these elements? For instance, on the word education. So how many syllables do we have? We have education. So we got 4 syllables on the word education. So if you're going to find the stress, just find out or look for the syllable with the loudest volume, the syllable in which you produce the loudest volume of your voice. It is the syllable in which your voice goes high. Okay, you use high pitch. And it is the syllable for duration. It is the syllable that you pronounce longer compared to the other syllable. So if that syllable contains those elements, therefore the stress, or what we call this primary stress, is in that syllable. So we say education. Education. So where did my finger stop? It's on K. Education. Education. So this is the syllable in which I used a loud volume compared to the other syllables. This is also the syllable in which my voice used a high pitch whenever I pronounce it. Okay? This is also the syllable which is pronounced longer compared to the other. That's why this is where my finger stopped. Okay? Again, education. So K is the syllable which receives the primary stress. Now, some other speakers have the tendency to shift or to remove stress whenever they speak these English words. For instance, in the Philippine context, since our language is not stress-timed, okay, pag sinabi kasi ala, parang pare-pareho lang ang pagbibigay ng diin, no? O yung tinatawag nating stress. So our tendency is that we do not put the correct stress whenever we use English language because that's the nature of our first language, which is Tagalog or whatever native language or mother tongue do we have. Most Filipinos would sometimes this speakers would pronounce elementary as elementary. They have the tendency to put the stress on the wrong syllable. Okay? So in that case, it affects the sound or the way we speak. Does it change the message? Maybe in the Philippine context, no. But when you speak to people abroad, okay, these people who are residing abroad and they are not used to this kind of accent, they will have hard time to understand what you are saying. So it's important for tip number 2, I repeat, that you stress the words correctly. Now, to give you more examples on this stress, there are some words in English with the same spelling, but we pronounce them differently. Okay? In other words, the stress is located differently. For instance, the word present. Okay, how do we say it? Okay, it could be present or it could be present. So see, we have the same spelling in that word in English language, but with just a shift in stress, okay, or in emphasis in the syllables, we are already changing what we want to say. Because when you say present, it could be a gift, it's a noun, okay? Or you are saying you are present. Okay, she is present. So in that case, that becomes an adjective. So it could be a noun or it could be an adjective. But when you say present, okay, putting the stress on the second syllable, it already becomes a verb. So these words with the same spelling, but when you shift their stress into another syllable, could either be a noun or a verb. Okay, like for present, present. Okay, record, which is your record, like your notebook, okay, where you list down your data or anything you would like to list, that's your record. But what are you doing while you are writing those data? You are recording. In that case, that is a verb. You put the stress on the second syllable. That's why it's record. I record the data in my record. Okay, that's how English language stress goes. Okay, aside from record, we also have update and update. Okay, if you want an update, then you are referring to an information that is recent. That's the update. But if you want the person to update, okay, the information, so tell that person that you need to update the data. Okay, in that case, that becomes the action. Okay, that becomes a verb. So I repeat, tip number 2, be careful with the stress of the word. Okay, stress syllables. Okay, for tip number 3, phrasing. I think in any language, phrasing is very important. So when we speak, there is a need for you to pause, there's a need for you to breathe, there's a need for you to group words correctly, even if you are just speaking. So how do we group the words correctly? So this is what we call phrasing, grouping of words whenever you speak. So in this sentence, I saw a beautiful girl crossing the street. It could be divided into two divisions or two phrases. I saw a beautiful girl, first phrase, and then crossing the street could be our second phrase. Instead of saying, I saw a beautiful girl crossing the street, okay, parang naghahabol ka ng hininga. It's as if you are gasping for air. Okay? And another thing, the reason why we phrase, okay, we use phrasing whenever we speak, we should give our listener the time to comprehend on what we are saying. That's why we need to use proper phrasing. So if you are going to say this, a sentence, or state this sentence to a public or to someone you are speaking to, it could be better if you say it this way. I saw a beautiful girl crossing the street. I saw a beautiful girl crossing the street. Okay, with the way I said it, you could identify that there's a pause after the word girl. Okay, I repeat. I saw a beautiful girl crossing the street. Okay, so that's what we call phrasing. Phrasing is also used to emphasize ideas, or okay, emphasize points in your statement. Okay, how? Let's say for instance in this sentence, the term intelligibility means distinct articulation. I repeat, the term intelligibility means distinct articulation. So I pause after the word term and after the word intelligibility, because I would like to emphasize the word intelligibility in my statement. I am giving emphasis that I am already defining the word. Okay, you need to focus on this word. That's why I pause. Unlike when you say the term intelligibility means distinct articulation, so there is no point of emphasis in your sentence. Okay, so I repeat, phrasing for proper briefing, phrasing to give your listeners the time to comprehend on what you are saying, and phrasing for you to sound clear. And in that case, if you sound clearly to your listeners, then you sound good. Okay? Next, tip number 4, and this will be my last tip. Okay? Blend the words. Okay, you don't need a blender in order to blend the words. Okay? What do we mean by blend the words? So blending is a technique in which we connect the sound of one word to the other. But not all words in a statement should be blended. Okay, for instance, let's give a very simple example. In the usual greeting, good afternoon. Good afternoon. We have two words, but whenever you pronounce it, it's as if you are just pronouncing one word. You say good afternoon. Good afternoon. So what did we blend? We have daft. Okay, good af. You don't say good afternoon. Although you can use that, I repeat, all accent of English language users are correct for as long as you are understood. Okay, there's no problem with that. But in order for you to be understood by other people in general, okay, and in order for you to sound good, to sound like a pro, okay, you have to follow certain rules that are already existing in the English language. Okay? But I repeat and I emphasize, there's nothing wrong with the accent of the Filipinos. That as long as it is understood, then there's no problem. These are just tips we are stating for international understanding. Okay, and of course, for you to have this what we call edge. Okay, whenever you speak. Okay, edge and number one, more than that, accuracy. Accuracy of what you are saying. So when you say good afternoon, you don't say good afternoon. Okay, it would be better if you sound good afternoon. You use proper blending. Same with good evening. Okay, you don't say good evening. You may say good evening, no problem, but people in general have this tendency to choose the sound good evening as a better sound. Okay, as a good sound whenever we speak English. So how do we blend? This is the rule. When it comes to blending, don't forget that the last sound of the first word must be a consonant. And the first sound, we are referring to the sound, not the letter. The first sound of the following word must be a vowel. Okay, or vice versa. Vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. Then you can blend. Okay, just like for good and afternoon. Good ends with which is a consonant, while afternoon starts with a, okay, which is a vowel sound, so you could blend. But another rule you need to remember about blending is that we can only blend words which are contained in the same phrase. Yung lesson natin kanina about phrasing. If the words are in the same phrase and they follow this consonant vowel sequence, then you can blend. Okay, let's have an example on your screen. Okay, our first example is good afternoon. You already know that we have to blend the and a, so that's why it's good afternoon. Okay, next, is it raining hard today? Is it raining hard today? Is it raining hard today? So it could be stated in one phrase. Therefore, you could blend the sound, is it? You don't, it's different when you say, is it? Okay, parang mas nakakapagod pa yun, no? So, to reserve a lot of energy and to reserve a lot of time, it would be better if you say it with blending, or if you say it following the rules of blending. So it would be, is it raining hard today? Is it raining hard today? Okay? Even on sentence number 3, people are often misled by appearance. People are often misled by appearance. People are often misled by appearance. So it could be often, it could be often. Okay? Depending on your orientation. So British or American accent, depending on your orientation, I repeat. So people are often misled by appearance. So which words here are blended? So we have people are. Okay, people ends with I repeat, the word people ends with a vowel letter. E. Okay? But in terms of sound, people, it ends with a which is a consonant sound. Therefore, we can blend it with R. Okay? Which starts with a vowel sound, a. Okay, that's why it's people are. Okay? People are often. Same with are and often. Are and often. People are often. So you have 3 words, but it's as if you are combining these 3 words into one word, like you are pronouncing one word only. People are often misled by appearance. Same with by and appearance. By appearance. By appearance. So that's what we mean by blending. Same with come in. Okay, yan. The common greetings we could hear from restaurants, malls. Okay, whenever they greet you, they want you to enter the building. Then you say come in. Come in. Okay, that sounds better. Instead of putting these 2 words separately, like come in, you need to exert more energy coming from your oral devices. So that's our 4th tip. Okay, 5th tip still relates with the use of the words in English is the use of the and the. Ano nga ba yung tama? Okay, it also has something to do with blending. It also has something to do with vowel consonant sound. we pronounce it as the if the following word begins with a consonant sound. So you could say the door, okay, the building. The building, which starts with b, which is a consonant sound. That's why we pronounce the as the. Now, when do we use the? Okay, based from our first rule, definitely we use the if the following word starts with a vowel sound. That's why in most TVs, television programs, you would hear these people, these announcers, or the voiceover at the end of the program, they would state the end. The end. Why did they use the? It's because end starts with a vowel sound e. So that's the correct usage of the and the. So remember that whenever we speak, it's very important that we need to train ourselves to consider these minor details that will make a change or impact, okay, in your speech. So if you want to sound good, if you want to sound close, okay, to the international accent, we need to study these things. We need to consider these things. So that's how we could improve our sound whenever we speak. So there are a lot of tips, I know. There are a lot of concerns, okay, and lessons in relation to speaking. But these are just 5 important tips, 5 basic tips I could give for now in order for you to train yourself, okay, to sound good, to sound better, should I say, whenever we speak English. And when we say better, that means to say you want to neutralize your language in order for you to be understood in the international arena or whenever you speak with other professionals, with other people. And it's important that you know these rules, you know this history, you know these features of English language, because this knowledge will put you into a situation that you will be aware why certain things are pronounced this way, why certain words are pronounced this way. So that's all for today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos about English language. Goodbye!